Hello, in this video I'll talk about how to configure your server for the API upload. First you need to go to DigitalOcean. Multiple services can be used for making your own cloud servers. We use DigitalOcean to do that. Other than DigitalOcean, you can also use AWS or Heroku. First you need to sign up. You need to enter your card information. You need to select deploy a virtual machine. To make our deployment process simpler, we'll go to marketplaces and select a NodeJS distribution, which can be found here. We'll click create droplet. You can unselect this one since we'll be using a cloud-based database solution, and in the basic you can either select any of the plans, but I'll select the least expensive one. You can select either of the data center region, preferably wherever the customers most have, that region should be selected. You can also select the authentication process. I'll use the password one. Create a password as written over here. I'm going to select all free plans. On second thought, we aren't running any scripts, so I'll uncheck this. You can add tags. I'll add and then you can create your droplet. It will take some time for the droplet to load. Now that your droplet has been configured, you can access them in two ways. Either through the UI by clicking console, or if you are using Mac, you can access from the terminal as well. By accessing it from terminal, you can SSH root at the rate of the IP name. You can then enter your password. Please verify that the packages are installed by typing node-v, npm-v, pm2-v. For development purposes, Git needs to be configured as well. For the purposes, for example, if you're pushing your code to a private or public repo, we need to put it in our server to make things easier instead of copying pasting each time when we want to make changes. Right now, we don't have Git configured. To configure Git, you need to run this command to update your package management tool. Then you need to install Git. You can confirm that Git has been installed correctly by running this command. You can enter your username that way. This should be your GitHub username. Since we want to set our username globally, you can do this with a global flag. And then just to check if it's working, now that everything has been set up, we need to clone our repo. So we'll go into var www git clone, or so this is the address we are going to clone. You type command here clone. Our repo has been cloned. Now we need to go inside that cloned repo, and just to test it out, let's run it. As you can see, the server is running. Now we need to test the application by opening another terminal and calling this IP. In order to do that, we need to open another terminal. As you can see, I have opened another terminal. Now to test it out, we need to use the curl command and enter the IP. As you can see, it returns hello world, which we wrote inside our application. Now that we have the project downloaded, PM2 is working as well, and we have tested the app in our server with the curl command as well, and we are returning hello world. What we can do is right now manage our application to run in background. For that, PM2 is required. We already have PM2 installed since we are using the built-in marketplace with already tools configured. So we will type the command PM2 start with the file name. For example, in our case it's index.js, so we will type that. It's already running. To see the list of projects that are already running, we will type PM2 list. We can see right now that the ID with 0 project is running. To stop, for example, the project with this ID and rerun it again, we'll type PM2 stop with the ID name which is 0 over here. So it's stopped right now. To restart it again, we'll type PM2 start with the ID or the file name that we have, index.js. So it's running right now. Now that our project is running locally correctly on our server, what we want to do is other users to access it outside of our server. So for that to happen, we need to make some changes in some files. Over here you can also redirect it using a custom domain as well, so the user can access it, or the user can access our API through IP as well. To make some changes and make it easier, I'll have to download FileZilla, which makes uploading and downloading files a lot easier. The point is to download the file that we want to make changes in and make the changes locally and then re-upload it. You can make the changes directly on the server using nano command as well, but I'll do it through FileZilla, which makes file uploading and downloading a lot easier. So download FileZilla, type the username that you have and the password. The port name should be 22 with the protocol of share file transfer protocol. Click OK. Connecting, and as you can see, we are connected to the remote site. Right now what we'll try to do is go to the file that needs changing, we'll download it, make the changes locally, and then we'll re-upload it. To find the file, you can go to the etc directory and go to Nginx and go to sites available. Now we need to download this file. In order to download, right click it and click download. It has been downloaded. Now we'll make the changes locally. Now that we have the default file open, we need to make a few changes. For example, we have the proxy path, which we need to change the port number over here. So changing the port number should give access to all the users who want to connect with it. For example, if you have a domain name example.com and it wants to send a request to our backend NodeJS application, it can do that. Now after making these changes, we need to replace the current default file in the server with the local one that we have. Let's reconnect again with the port number 22. It's connected. Now we need to go to the directory etc Nginx sites available. Now we need to replace this file with the changes that we made. Do we wish to overwrite? Yes. The file transfer is complete. Once you have made the changes, we want to make sure that we haven't introduced any errors. Syntax is okay. Now let's restart the Nginx server. Sudo Now the server has been installed. Now that we have changed the default file, we can access our endpoint from our local machine by typing the IP. To test it out, let's type curl and it should return hello world string in our local environment. So you can give this endpoint in your web app, in your mobile app, and you should access the live server. To make things simpler, only the API needs to be hosted. And for example, for the React application for the web app and the admin dashboard, you can use service like Netlify to deploy your web application over there. Netlify also gives you a service. For example, if you deploy a web application, they'll give you a domain name as well. So you won't get any issues, which is HTTP secure as well. But if you want to point a custom domain as well, for example, if you buy a hosting service from GoDaddy in your name server, you need to point to Netlify, which should work then. If the configuration process looks complicated on DigitalOcean, you can use Roku as well, which makes things a lot simpler for deploying the API. That concludes how to deploy on the web server the API on DigitalOcean. If you have any questions, let me know. For documentation purposes, I have provided the link in how to deploy on production as well in the documentation page. You can go through the link and deploy it and try it out yourself as well. If you have any queries, let me know.